Welcome to the Dynamics of Everyday Life, where we demystify some tricky concepts and get to know ourselves a little bit better. Welcome back to the show, everyone. I'm just going to come straight out with it. I don't like the film Love Actually. Now, I know it's supposed to be a national treasure, but it leaves me cold. And, if I'm honest, slightly unsettled. Rowan Atkinson's shop assistant moment is pure genius, obviously. It's the only 3 minutes worth watching. But the rest? No thanks. Now, have I gone fully bar humbug? Have I morphed into the Grinch? An excellent Christmas film, by the way, along with Home Alone. No, I love the festive season. I'm just not getting swept into the groupthink that dictates what we're all supposed to adore. So today, we are doing Freud Actually. Because if anyone understood the unconscious chaos of December, it was him. Probably not in a Santa hat, though. So, why do festive narratives mess with us? What's going on here? Well, you won't be shocked to learn that Christmas ramps up our old relational patterns. Some you'll recognise instantly. Ever find yourself turning into a grumpy teenager the minute someone mentions sprouts? Yeah, that. Others sit just under the surface, quietly stirring. But here's the thing. It's not just you. Everyone is regressing together. A kind of collective emotional time travel. And because we're all doing it simultaneously, some defences become socially endorsed. Sentimentality, for example. Have you seen some of the Christmas adverts? They are practically weaponised nostalgia trying to part you from your hard-earned cash by dragging on your heartstrings. Now, some people find that soothing. It gives them a warm golden glow. Others want to run screaming into the nearest forest. So, bringing this back to the film, it's not really about the film. It's about what's stirred in you while you're watching it. Let's wade through the schmaltz and get to the psychology. We'll start with Andrew Lincoln and the placards. Who wouldn't want a grand gesture like that? Well, me. Because while it looks romantic, it's actually a bit creepy. Boundaries? There are none to be found here. Does it solve anything? Not even close. It just sets up a deeply awkward dynamic that is absolutely going to erupt at the christening of Keira Knightley's first child. Psychodynamically, he's a walking example of reaction formation. He can't address his real feelings, so he's cold and dismissive. And the fantasy he creates about her is just that, a fantasy. It avoids any risk of real intimacy. We've got Colin Firth and the housekeeper, love without words. Now, this is a fabulous example of idealisation. Honestly, how do you fall in love with someone you can't have a conversation with? It reminds me of Brilliant Jones's brilliant line from the second book. When is Mark Darcy going to wake up and talk to me about my opinions? Exactly. When are you going to see me as a full person? This storyline sells the fantasy that connection is easier when you don't share a language. Spoiler? It isn't. What's really happening is an avoidance of intimacy, wrapped up in this lovely, sparkly, romantic gloss. We've then got, arguably the emotional core of the film, Emma Thompson, The Necklace, and the Joni Mitchell CD. Now, this is actually the bit I struggle with the most. Who hasn't wanted to throw something at the scene when Emma opens the box and realises she's been given a CD instead of a necklace? She then gives us a masterclass in suppression. It's fine, everything's fine. When it absolutely isn't. She's scrambling to feel grounded again. Not easy when your emotional world has just been sideswiped. And no amount of Richard Curtis sparkle can make this storyline come right. It isn't okay. And to pretend it is, we have to use our own denial, which leaves many viewers feeling vaguely nauseous. And then we've got Hugh Grant and Martine McCutcheon. Erotic transference in a Christmas tie. Now, this is a lovely bit of idealisation and power dynamics dressed up as festive charm. Nobody in the film bats an eyelid at the imbalance here. But imagine if this happened in real life. The cleaner and the Prime Minister? The tabloids would detonate. In Curtisland, however, it feels charming. Until the psychodynamic brain kicks in and you start peeling the onion. And then it's less charming. Why does this matter in coaching? Now, these aren't just film tropes, they are dynamics that we see every day. We've got over-functioning, people-pleasing, avoidance. We've got fantasy solutions. And then, of course, we've got emotional leakage. Throw in end-of-year exhaustion, competing expectations, and festive performance pressure, and it's no wonder everything feels fraught. I mean, honestly, if the characters of Love Actually were on my coaching list, the first thing I'd be doing is booking myself a supervision. There is a lot to get into here. But the thing is, it's never about the film. Stories act as emotional projectors. We don't respond to the plot, we respond to the unconscious echoes. And you are allowed to dislike something that is supposedly universally adored. Bit of a case in point here. At the time of recording this, everyone is talking about Celebrity Traitors. I've never seen it. And I don't plan to. I'm not a huge Claudia Winkleman fan. Not because she's not lovely, I am sure she is, but she's clearly incredibly clever. And she seems to dumb herself down to be liked more. And that's the bit I struggle with. Now, this is all my own stuff. I fully acknowledge this. This absolutely belongs to me. But it's why, something everybody else loves it. Me, not so much. Anyway, back to Love Actually. Freud, he would have hated the film. But the data? They'd have had a field day. My invitation for you this week is for you to consider where in your life have you felt pressured to like something just because everyone else does? Have you sat through films or programmes wondering what on earth you're doing there while everyone else is raving on about how fabulous it is? And then you've been annoyed with yourself for staying quiet. And as always, give yourself some grace. Swimming against cultural approval is hard. But if, like me, you feel that ripple of irritation whenever someone announces Love Actually is the greatest festive film ever made, don't worry. Freud Actually has your back. If you can't wait for the next episode, I'm on LinkedIn Live most Monday afternoons at 2:30, now also on Facebook, because apparently my IT skills are improving at an alarming rate. The recordings go up on YouTube if you can't make it, unless it's a bank holiday, in which case I'll be watching a James Bond film. My course, Essential Psychodynamics for Coaches, kicks off again in January. The first 2 rounds have been fantastic. Brilliant groups, incredible discussions. People are already signing up, so if you don't want to miss out, send me a DM or an email and we'll have a chat about it. I've also launched Psychodynamic Nuggets, an on-demand series. If you're not quite ready for the full course, it's there for you. If you'd like details, just shout. And looking at ourselves at this level can feel deeply challenging and a bit unnerving, so do go at your own pace. To explore working with me, either as a trainer, a coach, supervisor or mentor, then click on the link that's in the show notes. Thanks for listening to this episode of The Dynamics of Everyday Life. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. As well as producing this podcast, The Dynamics of Everyday Life has lots more psychodynamic fun going on. And you can find out more at dynamicsofeveryday.life.